and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We could remain standing as we always do and remember our men and women in the armed forces. And take a moment and remember Sandra Christian. Thank you. And before I do my agenda, would you come up, want to introduce yourself? And do your...
Okay, thank you. Thanks for letting
The
us.
school board asked to spend a few minutes with us to talk about the new budget.
Correct, thank you. Thank you for giving us a few minutes. I'm going to turn it over to Chris Cavallo, our business official. Sorry for our backs.
First off, thank you for having us here to speak with you about the proposed budget for this year. First reminder, the budget vote is May 21st at the Highland Falls Intermediate School between 6 a.m. and 9 p.m. And just to kind of start it off, I think we all know that our community's had a challenging year. The school district is the same, except with the floods and recent earthquake. But we've remained focused on the fact that we want to make sure we continue to provide a robust and vibrant educational environment for the students of our district. And that's included some tough decisions this year. As you may have heard, due to some challenges with some of the revenue this year, we did have to have 4 positions at the district be released. So we had to get rid of those 4 positions, unfortunately. And I just want to take a moment to outline where that came from and why. So if we go back to the COVID period, right? During COVID, the federal government created these grants for schools in order to support the needs of students in a variety of means. Those grants were utilized by districts for everything from building fields, establishing different after-school systems and support. Here in our district, the decision was made to bring in a number of new individuals to help with learning loss. So we expected that was the best way to invest those dollars. And 7 positions were created at the time. In the next following year, it was determined that one of those positions wasn't necessary, so there were 6 that have been in the district, but have been focused on, I should say, they've been paid for by federal money. They have never been in the budget that this community has voted on, okay? As time went by, the last couple of years, we were able to roll 2 of those into the budget, but as we started the budget development process for the 24-25 school year, 4 of those positions were not in the budget, and they had never been in the budget. Again, due to some challenges with some of the way that the revenues come down from the state and some of the sort of out-of-district tuition coming down a little bit in our district for next year, unfortunately, 4 of those positions could not be rolled in at that time, and that's the key piece of those positions that we had to release. The other ones are a position of a leave of absence individual who actually was going to move on anyway to a different district, so that individual is not someone who's losing their position. And then we had a .4 social worker that the district's going to backfill by utilizing the other social workers in the district to support the children as needed. To get to the sort of details of it, next year's proposed budget for the 24-25 school year is $39,995,141. And don't worry, I have a leave behind in the back. You don't have to write down all those numbers or remember that. That's a 2.46% year-to-year increase, which is actually below the 10-year average of 3.2%. That's supported by a tax levy with an increase of 1.91%, which is below the tax cap. That's in line with the 10-year average of 1.86%, and actually below the sort of 5-year average before COVID of about 2.6%. Other things in the budget generally are maintained conservatively as they are on the revenue side. And again, this budget does support maintaining the different programs and activities for the students, although we did have, unfortunately, to lose those 4 positions. To provide you with the final piece of information really is in the event that the budget would not pass, the district would have 2 options. You could put down the budget again in June, or potentially go to a contingency budget. If the budget is voted down, the contingency budget would require $219,000 to come out of the budget below what we are right now. And that is because of the fact that you cannot increase your tax by law. That would require reducing various areas within and potentially additional positions, as well as requiring us to charge for district use of any facilities. This is even other community groups or things like that. They would not be able to come and utilize the district facilities for free. Again, we would have to, by law, charge them for that.
That includes the rec department, the Connect program, which are both highly used and needed in this community. as well as unfortunately evaluating and potentially reducing additional staff positions, also potentially cutting an additional sheriff security deputy that we were just able to bring in for our night crew at the high school, which is really important when we have those after-school activities. I didn't mean to interrupt you,
No,
but
no,
I thought
please.
it's
Thank you, I
important
appreciate
to
it.
make
Yeah.
sure. I know you're rushing, but.
No, I'm just trying to make sure we meet
Yeah,
the
well,
time needs here.
yeah.
Beyond that, the last point really is, if we don't, we're in a unique position here in this district, right? We have some federal programs called Impact Aid, which supports the school district. So a portion of that would be at risk, over $1 million, if we do not show that we are maintaining our own support locally for the students of the district. So again, that's why if we were to go to a contingency budget, again, it would be challenging to ensure that we are still showing that we increase the local share of support for the students of the district.
So we put our impact aid, our one portion of our impact aid, the $1.2 million, and I say this every year when I stand up here, we put that portion in jeopardy if we go to a contingency budget. And this year, more than ever, because of how low our tax increase is. And I know you're all like, are you kidding me? But it's the truth, like because our tax increase is so low, that if we don't pass our budget and we go contingency, we put that $1.2 million in jeopardy. So we have to do everything we can to work to get this budget passed. The other thing I want to say is a lot of people, including me, do better with numbers. So if your house has, I just want to make sure I say this correct, if it's assessed for taxes as a $250 valued home for assessed as taxes, it would be an increase of $106 a year. If it's assessed as has a tax assessment for $500,000, it would go up $212 a year. Obviously, that's simple math. The other things that we cut in the budget were large equipment went down by 73% at $110,000. District-wide supplies and materials we took down by 15% at $45,000. And we do these things called capital improvement mini projects that the state allows us to do without going through all the approvals. We removed that entirely for next year at $100,000. And professional development for our teachers, administration, and staff, we cut that by $30,000 at 30%. And field trip transportation, we cut by 50%, and that's $28,000, around $30,000. I can't read my own handwriting. So we made cuts across the board. So the last thing we cut was unfortunately, were those positions in our district. It's the first time in I don't know how many years that we've had to make cuts to our faculty and staff, and while it was heartbreaking, it's something that we had to do. I mean, the governor came down on Friday night, reduced our numbers even more than we thought that we were going to get. It killed us, but it's not on us. I mean, we did everything we possibly could to save as many positions as we could, but very difficult decisions. We know what the village is going through. We know what the town is going through. People vote on our budgets. We cannot go above our tax cap. We cannot do it. We just cannot do it. So this is what we have to do. So thank you for giving us
Thank
the
you.
time.
Thanks for the work. I know it takes work, a lot of time.
Yeah, so thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Can I ask a question?
Please.
Yeah, as a retired New York City public school teacher, with this whole money thing, how many full-time and part-time superintendents do you need in Highland Falls?
We only have one full-time superintendent. We have one business official and one assistant superintendent that covers,
Curriculum, instruction, and technology.
she does all three.
Yes.
We're down to one that does all three. And she also does, she's now going to be responsible for all our testing, all our measurements. I call them measurements, but they're really all our data now that's due to the state. So we're down to one that does all of that.
One superintendent.
One
superintendent,
Dr.
yeah. Mr. McElduff.
Mr. McElduff is our superintendent. Chris is our assistant superintendent for business. He does all our business, our transportation,
Facilities oversight.
facilities,
Right.
all our custodial staff. And then we have Mrs. Rachel Edelstein, who does our IT,
Curriculum and
curriculum
instruction.
and instruction.
Right.
our data, our
Report outs.
report
and
outs
on
to
a
the
regular
state
basis,
now, our attendance and all of that. Yeah, so we have, yeah.
So there's no redundancy of services here?
Yes. No, ma'am.
No, as a matter of fact, you know, we're thin in that, and then we have our building principals. Hmm? Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Having looked through the budget, the first thing that popped out, very first page, superintendent, 240,000. He made just under 180 for 2023. Can you tell me what
Those
the
lines,
difference
those
is?
lines, I don't know where you got that number from.
Yeah, the superintendent's salary is not $240,000. In fact, if you look at the back of the budget statement that is on the district website, in the business section under budget information, I believe it's actually the very first link on there. That budget statement will tell you on page 18 that his salary for next year is projected to be $195,000. However, that is simply a number that we have in there for what potentially it could be. It is the purview of the board to determine the salaries of all of the administrative staff, and they will do that in June as they sort of
After-
evaluate everyone at the end of the year.
Yeah,
At what point would you consider cutting salaries at the top that are administrative, rather than cutting teachers in essential areas that would reflect on the children generations to come?
I'm not sure what you
When-
mean by administrative. Do you mean principals?
Yes.
They're contractual. They have contracts. They have negotiated contracts, so we
They
can't.
wouldn't, besides saying, God forbid, if it came to a crux where they lost their job versus them saying, well, I'm gonna put the children first and take a bit of the pay cut, that would never
That's a
come into it.
contractual thing. That would have to come from their unions.
Correct.
We can't.
I'm sure if somebody was to speak to the unions and put black and white figures on the table like what happened in Detroit, which was a very strong union-based center, they did come to some agreement with the car manufacturers. I'm
I
just putting it
understand
out
that,
there.
sir, but we don't have the right to do that if they would have to.
Any more
come
questions?
forward.
Okay.
Thank you for letting us come here.
I do have a question. It's really not about this budget, but in the future. And I'm sure you're aware that Albany has sent down more mandates about the school busing and electric buses.
Mhm.
Have you
So
guys,
we vend out, I call it vend out,
We have a contractual
Contract-
agreement for busing. Yeah,
for busing.
Right.
So we're working with our contractor that knows that. They have given us, the state has given an extension on that to 2027.
Right, I believe it's, we have to have a fully electrified, I think the word is, fleet by 2035, I think is the date.
Yeah,
If it gives you any additional comfort, last year we did go out for bid for a new transportation contract. And what was established per the agreement of the board and certainly the vote of the community, that contract actually is established for 5 years. So we have our pricing set for those 5 years at least going forward, which will help us to have a better, more stable ability to budget for that portion of our expenses.
perfect, thanks. I don't know
Anyone
too
else?
many other people knew about the electric
No,
buses.
No, thank you.
and the
No,
one
Mike, I got
Well,
more.
no, this is
The
important,
one
I'm sorry.
question you always
The-
ask that I do want to tell you about, and is the Highland Falls Elementary School. So I know last year I told everybody on this board that we had a grant from School Fest for the heater, but obviously with the flood, that went awry. But it didn't go awry, we still have the money, but we're working now to replace the roof. So once the roof is replaced, we'll be working to get the furnace worked inside, and we have a couple of people that are very interested in leasing it out. So we're
Frank,
looking.
do you have a question?
Just a quick question.
Yes.
The
Sure,
building
Frank.
on Mountain Avenue, the former elementary.
That's the one
That's
I was
what she
just
was just
talking about.
addressing.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're working on the roof. The roof will be replaced. And once we do that, we'll be using the grant from Senator Skoufis to replace the boiler inside. And we have one or two organizations that are interested in starting to lease that building, parts of the building.
No way they can shut down the Fort Montgomery Elementary and bring the kids back to there, is it?
No, it's not coded for school,
Okay.
not up to code for school, but we do have people that are interested.
And one last question, what was the reason for the reduction from the state? Is that all the districts?
All the districts, yes, all the districts, and I don't know if anyone knows it, but I don't know if the village and the town have, but the schools have all been put on notice that more is coming next year.
Correct.
Yeah, we've all been put on notice. Okay. Thank you so much.
Hey, no, there's more questions,
Oh.
and, sorry.
Just one more.
Oh,
When you say it's
yeah.
not coded for school, it's a school. So what you're saying is
It's not
right
up to
now,
code anymore.
right now it's not up to code, but we
Right.
could bring it up to code if we wanted to.
It would
correct?
cost millions of dollars.
The investment in that would be
Okay.
questionably.
That's already been looked into, Pat. It would cost us way more than it would to,
Would it benefit selling that off and then putting it back into the budget?
we've looked at many different avenues, and this is the best one at this time from a financial perspective. Thank
Hey, Ange,
you.
I had questions, just a couple.
Go ahead,
Okay.
let me see,
So
I don't
I
want to
think-
get in trouble for taking too much time.
Okay,
go
why
ahead.
would you get in trouble?
Okay.
This is a community forum.
Okay, go ahead.
I think it's for the community to find out, it's televised.
Okay.
People who are not here can watch it.
Okay, go ahead.
So I think the issues that came up is that really what they were asking, why they're asking for the superintendent's salary and how many superintendents there are. So what you're saying is that there's only one superintendent, but there are multiple deputy
No,
superintendents.
assistant superintendents with different titles. Assistant superintendent for business, that takes care of all the financials in the district. Assistant superintendent for curriculum, instruction, IT, and technology. Those are state mandated, like we need somebody that's in charge of that can sign their separation of duties, like there isn't any company. So those are things that have to be done by an individual that handles. There's not usually, if you look at other districts, even the same size of us, but at least even a little larger, there's different people that do those jobs. We have one person that does.
So there's 2 assistant superintendents.
Yes.
Okay, that's it.
Mhm.
2 assistant superintendents. Okay, to help the superintendent.
Yeah.
And you said the size of our school. How many students do we have? Elementary, intermediate, high school students total?
I don't want to hold me to the breakdown, but the total overall is about 950 students overall.
So 950 students and our budget is 40 million a year. Okay, for the 950 students.
That
Okay.
includes transportation, that includes everything.
Okay, and you said the impact aid that we get because West Point is 1.2 million a year?
It's not because of West Point, it's because of our 7% of our land can be taxed. That includes federal lands and state lands as well. That includes Fair Mountain and things like that.
I got you, and that's
Yes.
1.2 million, is that
No,
included
no,
in
no,
that?
it's 1.2 million is the extra I payment that we get. It's a total of 3.
Total 3.4 million.
Three-
is what we
oh,
get.
4
Okay,
million.
is that
Thank you.
3.4 million included in that $40 million budget?
Yes,
Oh, okay, when you count the, okay, it's already added
that's one of our
on to
revenue
that.
streams that sums into that.
I gotcha. And you said something about AOG being impacted, the Connect program.
Yes, if
of
we have
AOG
to
being
go in,
impacted
if we have to
don't.
go in a contingency budget, the recreation program in town would have to be charged to use our fields. That's a state mandate, that's not from us, that's part of a New York State mandate. If we go on contingency, we have to charge people to use our fields and our buildings. So we would have to start charging Connect to use our programs, which would be devastating to use our building.
I
Which
would
would be
say.
a huge devastation to that fabulous program that we have.
Oh, I see.
So we would have to charge them to use our building, we'd have to charge rec. We already know the condition of the town and the village budget, it's
Yeah.
because of the flood and everything and all the other rising prices, it would be devastating. The town doesn't have the money to cover, to charge them to use the fields. I mean, we invested in those beautiful fields for the kids.
And I don't know what that sound is, but I think that it's air conditioning, so I was having a hard time
Yeah, sorry.
hearing you. But this is what I would say. I would say that I do want to acknowledge the efforts that you made and the school board made in trying to look where to cut spending in order not to go above the tax cap, okay? So I see, I read it on the paper, okay? 73% equipment, on equipment you cut, you laid off 6 people, okay? All right, and in order to look for ways to not raise taxes. So this is something, that's what I've been saying. We needed to cut spending in order not to raise the taxes on people. So I acknowledge your efforts.
But the difference between us and you is that we need to, people need to vote on our budget. So it makes it
Yes.
a little tougher for us too.
I know it's,
We'll come out and pull that lever, so,
thank you.
okay.
Thank you.
Just one question, what is the price per student, to educate a student in E. O'Neill, or Highland Falls, Montgomery Central School District? How much does it cost?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it fluctuates every year, so you could say 950 divided by whatever our budget was this
Well,
year.
it comes
but-
out to $51,578.98.
But obviously it's
Per student.
more expensive at the high school level than it is at the Fort level.
Doesn't matter, that's what we're paying to educate every student in the school district.
You pay roughly half.
Right.
You pay roughly half. Out of the $40 million budget, we're probably on the hook for
I
like.
understand.
11.8.
I understand all that. But what I'm saying is,
11.8 million
Yeah.
is the tax.
Yeah, it's-
$51,000 per
Yes.
student.
That's not wrong.
How much does it cost in Illinois
I can't.
Don't have
answer
those
that.
numbers, sorry.
or Ohio?
Obviously, the cost of living
I'm
is a
sure.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
So again, don't forget to vote please on the 21st, and also we have a budget hearing ourselves on this Thursday, May 9th. for that as
You can
well.
come and ask any
Correct.
questions, and it'll be
Thank you.
open the whole time for questions, right? Yes. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. At the high school.
At the high school.
Okay, thank you for your
Thank you very
time.
much.
Take care, you guys.
No, I
That's the cost.
Okay.
taking it or they're taking it.
Um,
Big road scholar.
Before I open it up to public comment, two things, I don't think, as I look out, most of you were here at the last meeting, so I won't read the rules that were voted on unanimously by us up here, all of us voted yes, unless it gets out of hand again. Otherwise, I'm not gonna open that folder. I think it should be okay. Next thing before I do public comment on agenda items is that this past Friday, it was brought to our attention by a couple that came in to pay their water bill that something was wrong with what we sent out, that there had been an error. And lo and behold, they were correct. There was an error. There was an error made on everyone's water bill that you received in the mail. It was in an envelope and it was blue. The bill itself is blue. So some folks have paid, maybe a dozen, not many yet. A couple people came in today and we told them not to pay yet, that a new bill would be coming in the mail. The new bills are going out in the mail tomorrow, so probably Wednesday and Thursday you'll get your new water bill. And your new water bill will be white. So throw away the blue and go with the white. You'll get a white envelope with a white bill in it. I will extend the payment of the water bill that normally would have to be paid on the last day of this month to July 1. So you'll have all of this month, what is left, and all of June. There'll be no penalty. On the sewer bill, when you get that next month, that'll be correct. It'll be a green bill, and you will have till August 1 to pay your sewer bill with no penalty. So we've extended the, by quite a bit, maybe an extra month on each case to pay your water and your sewer. So again, your new water bill will be coming in the mail this week.
Can you explain what the mistake was?
In error, the new rate was put in, the calculation, and that new rate cannot start until the next water bill, which I think is November. So that was the error.
I see. So we should still be on the old rate and the
That's right.
upcoming bill?
That's
Gotcha.
correct. That's
Okay.
correct. So your bill should go down. If you opened up your bill that's blue, whatever it says, the one in white should be less. Okay? Thank you. Is there thank you very much. Is there public comment on agenda items? Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Michael Choice,
Come here.
I'm a member of the village. Oh. Is it mine?
Is it what, mine?
Mine?
Nah.
Hang on.
Not, there you go.
Okay.
Geez, that's what you do? I don't know if I would do that.
And you pray.
Yeah, okay.
I was looking at your items here, and to be quite honest, I'm a little bit dismayed. had a meeting, I wasn't there because of other commitments, where you approved the new budget, where there was tax increases. And here, you want to raise dispatch salaries from $15 to $18.50 per hour. Now, normally, if our finances were great, I'd say no problem. And some people are going to say, when it's their turn to speak, that it's all contractual. It's in the contract. But
No,
I would rather say, I would rather have a job than a pay increase.
Mike, it's public comment to the board.
So, I'm a little bit baffled that we're giving people wage increases when the burden is put on the taxpayers here that have gone through a flood, that have gone through devastations. Their water bill is now, will go up with a new 32% rate line. Their real estate taxes are going up. And I just wonder how this is justified.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's right. Anyone else?
Kind of a little touch on what was talked about as far as the dispatchers, who I think are key to what's going on in the police department. I want to make sure that you understand I'm not saying anything against dispatch, but I am saying that why is this being done the year that the taxes are being so critically raised above whenever they have been, instead of the past 7 years, going incrementally like they should have been. If you're trying to bring them up to speed with other towns that, that have that rate, that's fine. Why wasn't it started 7 years ago and done incrementally per year so that the taxpayers aren't hit in one side? And even if it's just a couple of dispatchers and it's this much money, it's still part of the raise that we're dealing with. So that, I think, is a poor judgment, which could have been done with, we're going to give you a percentage raise this year, but next year, when we're not dealing with the issues of the flood, that's when we'll go with a bigger raise. And let them know that and actually stick to it rather than lie about it. Next, recreation. I'm sure that at least one person on the board did touch base with the town when we brought up recreation at the last meeting, not counting the budget meeting. But I did already as well. And there were several town board members that are very interested in talking about taking over recreation fully, including the facilities. And this is not a 3 to 5 year plan. This can be done in weeks. And again, save the villagers over $100,000 minimum. Would be nice if it was looked into by a board member and put on an agenda. Meeting place. Still not sure why we're here and not at one village hall. If you're saying it's because you want more people, room for more people, why aren't we at town hall? Which has the sound system, which has the live feed for channel 23, and which has the mic here, which you're asking us to face you instead of the camera, which I feel, especially if you're not as loud as I am, I don't think the camera's going to pick up half the things. But we're going to spend, as you said at the last meeting, we're going to spend more money to put a sound system in this building. So now we have one in Village Hall, Town Hall, and one in the Senior Center, which I think is a waste of money since new equipment was recently bought in the last couple of years for the village. And the village had an upgrade in Village Hall for the meeting room just a year or so ago. It's a responsibility of the board to manage our budget and our departments. And I think especially the management of the budget is being done very poorly. And I would ask that you look at it and just see what you can do better. Paying of a budget officer who doesn't know how to read a letter that specifically is toward the budget not knowing how to tell the public what the ratings or what the numbers that were on that letter are. I think that's interesting that we're paying for that and not getting the results. Was I in charge? What was talked about? And what are... Oh, last thing. So when we talked about we have to have this meeting so that we can actually pass the budget, which was 2 meetings ago. It was last week, which was the passing of the budget. The week before was the meeting where you read the budget. We have to read the budget before we can make any changes. Were changes made? Were any changes made? Is anyone going to answer? I'm looking at the board, addressing the board. Were any changes made to the budget? Because you kind of assured the public you were going to look at it and we were going to make changes.
To the tentative, you don't know?
To the budget that you guys met about last week.
Yeah, the taxes went down from 6.6 to 5.5, so there were some changes, but really no cutting in the spending, but just some changes.
Just moving around with money again. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's
Yes,
all. Thank you.
exactly.
Anyone else?
Yeah. Stupid question 101. I'm not gonna sit here and say that dispatchers don't deserve a raise. The only thing I wanna know, was this raise accounted for in the new budget? It was? Okay.
It was?
Was?
No one said it was a headline.
Okay, so it was actually accounted for, this 23% increase in salary. Okay, I guess he's saying,
Said yes?
Mr. DeSalvo is saying yes on the other side of the table.
yes.
I see.
I wrote
Okay.
down what you guys said, and when I'm, time for me to talk, I'll answer these questions.
Okay, next on the, next on the agenda is to
Public comment.
approve bills and claims for 2023 and 2024, $722,391.70. Two large numbers, the two largest numbers are FEMA project and Section 8, which is a reimbursement. May I have a motion to pay bills?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Opposed?
Opposed?
Okay. You have it? Okay. All right, next is minutes. We had a few meetings because of our budget meetings. We had a special meeting on April the 15th, 2024, public hearing, tentative budget. We had a special meeting on April the 15th, the same day, annual reorganization. And then we had our monthly board meeting on the same day, April 15th, 2024. And we had a special meeting to adopt the budget on April the 29th, 2024. Was everyone here for all four? Yes, I think so. For you? Which one?
The second meeting in April, I was in.
April 29th?
No, the 29th.
April
The
15th.
15th.
You didn't make any of those?
The 15th I did not make.
Okay, that's okay, that's okay. All right, so may I have a motion, may I have a motion to accept, may I have a motion to accept the minutes on April the 15th for public hearing, tentative budget, April 15th annual reorganization, and April 15th regular meeting? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second,
May I have roll call?
Trustee Guerrero,
yes.
Trustee Ramus,
Abstain.
Trustee DeSalvo,
Yes.
Mayor D'Onofrio.
Yes, thank you so much. May I have a motion to approve the last meeting here on April the 29th, which was the adoption of the budget? May I have a motion?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
May I have roll call?
Trustee Guerrero,
Yes.
Trustee Ramus,
Yes.
Trustee DeSalvo,
Yes.
Mayor D'Onofrio.
Yes, thank you so much, motion carries. Next on the agenda is the retirement of Anna Sierra. Tremendous, tremendous, tremendous loss. for this village, effective May 21 of 2024. Elise, do we have to accept this? I mean, it's just an announcement of a retirement.
Yeah, you want to accept it
Accept it and
with regret.
with regret, okay. So could I have that motion, please?
I'll make the motion with regret.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is to approve the rate of a part-time dispatcher from $15 to $18.50 per hour per the recommendation of Chief Jason Torpy.
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
May I have roll call?
Trustee Guerrero?
No.
Trustee Ramos?
Yes.
Trustee DeSalvo?
Yes.
Mayor D'Onofrio?
Absolutely, yes. Thank you, motion carries. All right, now I have a budget transfer, $6,375 from the A.000.092 Village Hall Repair Reserve, and $6,000, same amount, $375 to the A1620.0400 Building Contractual. And that was for years of, should have been done years ago, a rug for the Village Hall.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Next, per our Chief Wastewater Plant Operator, John Jones, he's recommending that John Walter be taken off probation. He has served the entire probation period, effective May 6, 2024.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations, John.
Thank you.
You did good.
Appreciate it.
All right. And I have some announcements, but I would like Dee, you got to put your phone down, huh? I read your emails today, and you said that I put you last. I didn't realize that.
No, I didn't say put me last. I
But you
said
went last.
I speak last, but then I get rushed
Oh, it's
off
okay.
because there's
So
a-
right now, I'm going to give you, you're going to be first. So tell us what you would like to tell us.
Hi, Dee Moreno, Town of Highlands Chamber of Commerce. I just wanted to let everybody know about the Military Banners program. I think at the last meeting was a little bit cut off, but I made flyers and I put them out in front.
Do you have another one? Or should I get it from out there?
No, it doesn't matter, here you go.
I'll put these in the lobby. the
Well,
village
I
hall.
have bigger ones for you guys, this is just for here.
Okay.
Just wanted to let everybody know, the Chamber of Commerce is doing the Military Banners program. Obviously, because not everybody has access to Channel 23, we want to say it at every village meeting, we want to say it at every town meeting, we want to say it at every meeting we're at, post flyers and do as much as we can to get the word out to the public. You can find the link on our website. Again, our website is still under construction. Our webmaster is hopefully going to make sure it's user-friendly for everyone to go on there, but otherwise, you can email info@tohcc.org, which is Town of Highlands Chamber of Commerce, if you need to have the link. If you can't scan it, or you can go directly to the Military Banners Program website, and you'll be able to find it under Highland Falls, Fort Montgomery, and West Point. Also want to make an announcement that we are having our members meeting the second Monday of every month, but officially the next meeting is next Monday. The 9:30 meeting is going to be refreshment sponsored by AOG. That's at 9:30 at the Park Restaurant. I also have flyers, and it's also posted online. Our 5:30 PM meeting is gonna be at Holy Innocents Parish Hall, and that's, refreshments are gonna be provided by the Town of Highlands Chamber of Commerce. We will have Zoomware available for both meetings, and it's gonna be our first meeting with all of our members, and if you're not a member already, I encourage you to come so you can see what we've done already and what we have in the works. And just a generalized conversation to have on what everybody expects we hope to have at the next couple of chamber meetings. And it'll be every second Monday of the month, 9:30 and 5:30 unless otherwise noted in the future. Everything? Just double checking with Sally. I think that's everything for right now.
Okay, you think of
yeah.
something, you think of something.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay,
Dee, just a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Is it always at 2 different spots?
Well, we were hoping it was gonna be at the same spot,
Right.
so.
But that's the goal, right, to try to?
Oh, yes, that's the goal, yeah. So if anybody wants to host a meeting, which it was on our link, when everyone signs up, there is an option, you can host a meeting and you can host both if you want. It's just that AOG just couldn't do both
I get it.
at this time.
Is the Zoom meeting open to the public?
Yes, I usually have the link on the Town of Highlands Facebook page, and I'm trying to get the website, again, more user-friendly. It's hard because every time we post information on the website, it kind of gets scrambled a little bit, like some people say it's oversized or too tiny, and that's just us trying to figure it out. Our webmaster is not available right now, so we're going to still continue to work with him or try to figure it out ourselves.
One more question.
Yes, ma'am.
You've been working very hard as a new president of the Chamber of
Trying.
Commerce, really, and this is really unpaid,
Yeah.
and you're doing a lot of things for the community. Are you part of the, are you co-sponsoring, the Chamber co-sponsoring the Juneteenth activities on the 14th, 15th, and 16th?
No, so
With
the
the-
chamber won't be, so Juneteenth is now gonna fall under the newly developed committee from Bob and his board called the Town of Highlands Special Events. But the chamber will support the event by helping out with either sponsorships or tabling. Like, we wanna show our commitment to all the events that way. So like
Okay.
Cinco de Mayo, we had a table just to give everybody information about the upcoming meeting, applications, and we had about 3 board members there just to answer questions. I myself was down at the end of the road, just kind of doing my own business, Crafty Bees, but I also answered any questions anybody had. And try to sign up a lot of these mobile vendors that are coming into our town and encouraging them to also join the chamber. And so a lot of them have shown interest to come back to our community because they're very surprised a lot of people came out in the rain. So we told them, well, we have a need to have events like this. So I'm hoping we can expand our base a little bit more.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you're reaching out to them.
Thank
They
you.
come. Thank you.
yes.
Edward Dunn, Revolutionary Road, Highland Falls, New York. Just a couple of questions. One is, has to do with Old State Road. Now that the culvert is complete, I assume it's complete, maybe somebody can call up whomever left the Mafia block and the Jersey barrier there to get it out of there, so the road doesn't look like trash. And number 2, my question is, the comprehensive plan, what's going on with it? Is it dead in the water, is
No.
it floating, is it
No.
out to sea, or what?
No. I wanted to get the budget over with, and now we have, so there'll be a new date. I have a public hearing that I believe we left open, correct, Elise? I think so. So I'm gonna reconvene that public hearing.
All right, thank you very much.
Anyone else? Yes. I'll take care of that block, that Jersey block down there.
Yeah, 2 of them.
A couple things that nobody on this board is aware of. The bridge when you come into Wine Green, into the apartment complex. On the West Point Highway side, there's a large pipe, which is, I guess, made out of cement or something, that's what it looks like. It's starting to crumble because that wall is crumbling, and that brings water down from in the village, so somebody needs to take a look at that. And the bottom of Webb Lane Bridge, underneath the bridge is a black pipe that runs, across the creek. it had some kind of insulation around it and then more metal around it. The flood,
Yes.
yeah, well, the flood took away a lot of that protection, it's stripped, so,
It's a black pipe.
yeah, I don't know if it was
It
sewer.
had, it did have insulation
It
around
did, but it doesn't, like, one section of it has it, the rest of it doesn't.
Okay.
So I don't want it to flood again and then
Right.
you have a gas leak.
Right. Okay.
Okay, question I have is, August 7th, board approved to bond 1.5 million for sewer, 1.5 million for water. September 5th, another $1.5 million bond for the sewer. And then September, October, you received $1 million from the insurance company. So I'm wondering why you have to raise the water rate so high.
Anyone else? Yes.
Trying not to be up here too much, so I would like to officially ask that this board consider having their meetings at Town Hall, where there's already a sound system, there's handicap accessibility, and it's a much better space in my opinion. I would also ask, I would like to thank the town for stepping up, creating the committee that is now encompassing several different celebrations, and that they are covering the insurance, which should have been happening for years. There shouldn't have to be additional insurance bought when we are covered under the municipality insurance that we already have. I would like to thank Sally and Dee for doing a phenomenal job at Cinco de Mayo. We didn't have a ton of people come out because it was raining the entire time, but the number of people that came out for the fact that it was raining the entire time,
Tony was
and the mariachi band,
Tony was the sponsor.
and Tony from Delicias was the sponsor and the originator of having the event. And he did a phenomenal job. He was in and out all day working with Dee and Sally, and they couldn't have done a better job on such a horrible day. I would like to also ask that the 4th of July committee consider joining the events committee that has been formed by the town, because for 25 plus years, there's been no oversight on the spending, there's been no oversight on the money, there has been missing money talked about for years, a lot of different issues going on, shoebox of cash. I was with the 4th of July committee for over a dozen years. I know the problems and things that could have been fixed if they were part of a bigger organization. Plus, the insurance will be covered by the organization through the town, and even the fireworks, which are already covered under our municipality insurance. I know this because I checked, so there is not a need for additional insurance. That's under our already existing policy with most of the other people. You approved the payment of bills. You talked about a couple large bills, but the $755,000 to Mastriani, I know that's section 8, I believe. Why?
No, I said correct.
I know, it is correct. I'm just wondering why almost $800,000 was a bill, and also on the A-Tech Concrete, $472,000.
That's a FEMA job, but I see Lene saying that.
I think that's a typo. My
The
problem.
$755,000?
We'll
I don't
check.
blame you, Lene.
Yeah,
VRI
Lene, that's not fair.
for $30,000. What's VRI?
Your water plant.
That's a privatization of the water
Oh, okay.
department.
All right, that's all. Thank you.
Okay.
I do have a question since you brought it up. For the 4th of July, does a 4th of July committee, which is outside of the village, do you buy additional insurance for that 3-day event?
We have every year.
You do, okay,
We do not have to.
I see.
Okay, couple of things to take care of, and then I'll open it up to the board. I want to add George Ramus, lives in Fort Montgomery, and Jim Ramus, to the 4 or 5, I don't have it in front of me, 4 or 5 other folks from town that are bog meadow caretakers. These 5 or 6 people do an amazing job up there with keeping it clean and reminding people that are up there that the dogs can't go in the lake and campfires can't be had. And so they really help out. So that's George Ramus and Jim Ramus. I'd like to read this short memo given to me by the Chief of Police. On behalf of the Highland Falls Police Department, I am very pleased to announce that the Village of Highland Falls Police Department has been awarded a grant from the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services in the amount of $25,000. This grant will be used for the purchase of an electric speed slash message trailer that will be deployed at various locations to assist us in our traffic enforcement efforts and to promote overall public safety. In the past 6 months, the Highland Falls Police Department has secured $18,000 for arrest booking equipment, $5,000 for body armor replacement, which combined with this grant brings our yearly total to $48,000 that we have achieved in grant money, with several other outstanding grants which we have applied for and that are currently under review. The police department will continue to identify and apply for grants which save village money and promote public safety. So I say congratulations to the police department on this work on getting this equipment that is needed. Last week, I'll go through this quick and then I'll be done. Last week I met with the governor's office here in Highland Falls. The purpose was twofold. It was about grants for water and sewer that we have applied for and that are in the pipeline. And also we went out and visited 2 homes that were destroyed by the July 9th flood. I've asked the governor's office for, while they have denied us individual assistance, which I don't understand how they could do that, in their billions and billions and billions of dollars of budget they just passed, could they find $3 to $5 million, earmark it for the Village of Highland Falls? They can come up with the criteria, but to help these homes that were hit hard. We've all seen going up Mountain Avenue, the second to last house on the left, it looks like Fort Apache. There's a house on Mearns Avenue, there's one on Oak, that maybe if they could come up with a couple $1 million for us, they use the criteria that they want, it would definitely go to these folks, I feel. So that was the request I had. Every Saturday, starting not this Saturday is the dedication of the park out here, which is going to be very nice. So if anyone wants to come down, I just don't know the time. You know the time?
I think it's 12.
Noontime? I'm just looking it up. But the garden's going to be dedicated to Donna Donaldson. And it really has, that has transformed out there into a beautiful place where the kids can come and do what they need to do out there and be together. But after this Saturday, and that takes place every Saturday thereafter, from 10 to 2, we'll here at the Senior Center, there's going to be a quilters club. So if you want to learn how to quilt, or maybe you do know how to quilt, a week from this Saturday, every Saturday, 10 to 2. Lisa Sibley. Lisa Sibley's name keeps coming up with as someone that's doing a lot for the community. And she did it again with the Happy Brain Day, which she held last Saturday. So I hear it was good. My police department participated, right, Frank?
Yes, sir.
And it was well received, and it'll continue. So thank you to Lisa. I did this the other day, but one more time, I want to do this. I want to thank Gabrielle, our treasurer, Lynn, our village clerk, for all the work and time, a lot of work, a lot of time in putting that budget together. So I appreciate the efforts that they put in for us. I want to congratulate the Highland Falls Fire Department. They had their annual dinner this past Saturday. I was very pleased that they honored with words and certificates the West Point Fire Department for helping us during the flood. West Point Fire Department is right there. right there, quick. I should make this last, but I'll make it here as I go down the list here. So, next Sunday is Mother's Day. How many mothers are here? Your mother. Raise your hand. There you go, Bobby, good. I think Jeanette is, for some reason, she doesn't want to raise her hand. We say Happy Mother's Day. We hope you like the sign down at Memorial Park. And if you're wondering why there's pink water in the fountain, it's for Mother's Day. And soon you'll see blue for Father's Day. Rotary cleanup, Vision and Rotary cleanup. You see them out there on a Saturday with their orange bags. Ronnie Coffey highlighting the Historical Society. Jody Downey, you look at all the flowers from Thayer all the way down. There's hanging baskets, there's sidewalk planters, just so much. She does that on her own. I can't thank Jody enough. I want to thank the Ondeora folks, people who live in Ondeora Park. I go down there 2-3 times a week. It's been rough for those folks down there. We had new sewer lining put in, new water lines, new storm drain, and it's almost done. And I just want to thank them for their patience during the construction. I'm sure that's not easy. The dust flies up. Some folks don't go slow to keep the dust down. We have one more job in there. We were able to lobby Central Hudson to put gas on Regina Road, and they're going to go through the back and around Ondeora Park. So they're going to have gas in there if they want to use it. I want to thank the town. Joe, take it back, please, on e-waste day. That's popular. E-waste.
Oh, yeah.
That's popular. I see all the boxes and boxes of stuff. Earth Day at the library was another success. There's a lot going on here in Highland Falls. There always is. And the last thing I have down here, because it only happened yesterday, was Cinco de Mayo. It rained, but it wasn't terribly cold. I didn't think it was cold. So people were there. I was able to talk to a couple of food vendors and a couple other folks that had things there for kids for the 4th of July. Got their cards. You know who they are. So you did a great job. And believe me, when the 4th of July started 57 years ago, well, I don't remember it, although I was here for sure. I'm sure the parade was a parade that probably was small. But over 57 years it's built. Now we have 4 days of events, sometimes 3. 5-division parade. There's no other small community that puts a 4th of July celebration on like we do. And I believe you all know that, so it's more or less our signature event. And the same will happen again this year. Mrs. Guerrero? Thank you, everyone.
Yes. All right. So a couple of things. One is we passed the budget at 5 o'clock on a Monday. Nobody was in attendance. It wasn't video tape. It wasn't recorded. So I'll say something about the budget just briefly tonight. Okay. We passed a budget that should not have gone up in taxes, and I said that to you many times. It shouldn't have gone up 1%, 2%, 3%. Certainly not the 5.5% that it went up. All we had to do was cut spending, and your taxes wouldn't have gone up. Okay. This dissolution thing, I've mentioned it many times. There was a study that you paid for, $27,000, $500 that you paid for, out of an independent company that told you your taxes would have gone down 29% if we were to have dissolved this board and consolidated everything with the town. But that's in the past. It already passed. So now we're passing budgets that are ever increasing in taxes. You just saw the school board here who told you they're going up, but under the tax cap, but they did cut. They did a lot of cutting on their spending. This board has privatized the water department, not to make it cheaper for you, but to make it more expensive for you, okay? That's not what you privatize the water department for, but that's what they did, okay? They increased the water-based rate by 39.5%. You pay that twice a year. It went up by 39.5%. They're saying it's just a little bit. It's 39.5%, okay? They're increasing your taxes by 5.5%, okay? They gave one of their favorite employees a $50,000 raise this year, while eliminating a couple of village employees from the payroll, okay? Now they're increasing the dispatcher's pay by 22%, okay? From $15 to $18.50, when you can go to Orange County Dispatch for $0. They didn't want to cut any spending, okay? You're paying for all of that. For the past 3 years, I've been telling you this, okay, that I've been here, this board has operated on an operating budget deficit. Your revenues are much less than your expenses. Your expenses exceed your revenues by over $1 million for the past 2 years, okay? The year before that, it was $750,000. The year before that, it was $500,000. Your expenses exceed your revenues year after year after year for at least 7 years now, and at least the past 3 years that I've been here. That's not right, okay? You should balance a budget. You cannot keep going over your revenues. Where are they getting this money from? They keep telling you you're in a good cash position. It's a lie. You're not in a good cash position. You're $16 million in debt, okay? It was $3.5 million 3 years ago, and then it went up to $8 million, and then it went up to $9 million, and then it went to $12 million. As we're sitting here today, it's $16 million, and it's gonna keep going up because we still have the On the Oro Water project for $3.4. We still have to buy 2 fire trucks for $1.5 million. So we don't have that cash. We're not in a good cash position. Mr. DeSalvo and Mr. D'Onofrio are lying to you, okay? So, I'm a village trustee. I'm gonna tell you this. There are 3,600 residents in this village. That's 1,200 households. There's about 2.5 people per home in this village. We're asking you, we're just squeezing you. The real estate taxes is the biggest expense every household has, okay? Picture this. They have to put away $1,000 a month to come up with a $12,000 a year in taxes and insurance that they have to pay for just to stay in that house. That's $1,000 a month. If you're in a fixed income, that's $1,000 a month of your fixed income that you have to put away just to give to the government so that you can pay your taxes at the end of the year, so that we can have it and not kick you out of your home. That's before you buy food, that's before you pay for the water, that's before you pay for the utilities, that's before you pay for the maintenance on your home, that's before you pay for your fuel, that's before you pay for your car payments. That's $1,000 a month you have to just set aside so you can give it to the government so you can stay in your house. Can you imagine if you're 65 years old living on $2,000 a month? That's ridiculous, okay? And we keep squeezing you, and we're saying it's just a little bit. It's just a little bit. It's not just a little bit, it's a lot. This water increase that they keep talking about, the base rate, twice a year, we're gonna go up 39.5%. Why? Mr. DeSalvo keeps telling you we have a ton of surplus. We have $1 million surplus in the water fund. He said we have $1 million surplus in the sewer fund. We have over $1 million surplus in the general fund. Okay, so why is your water rate gonna go up 39.5%? Why don't you use that surplus? You know why? Because the surplus doesn't exist. On paper it does, but not in reality. okay? They're borrowing on the back end, and they're making it look like it's a surplus on paper. It's a lie. They've been lying to you. And I've been telling you this. So, okay, that's where we are. That's why I don't approve any of these claims. That's why I vote no on all of these rate increases. And then I'll talk about good stuff. The Center of Highland Falls, Ann Molina, she wants you to know that there are still 4 seats available for the Niagara Falls trip next month. That's on June 24th to 28th. It's only $715 for 4 nights of lodging. So please get in touch with Ann. She does great work, just like Bee does great work, just like Sally Dorsch does great work. These people, they just do great work for the community. Ann Molina is one of them. In October, she wants me to let you know that there's actually a trip going to Newport, Rhode Island for senior citizens. Everyone is invited to attend. Please sign up with her. On May 29th, which is coming up, there's a Senior Health and Fitness Day in Montgomery, New York. They're going to have health screenings, financial health and wellness information. The Orange County Sheriff's Department is going to be there to accept any unused or expired prescriptions so that they can dispose of it safely. And of course, the Tana Highlands Juneteenth celebration is next month. The event is over 3 days. Ann Molina and the center is a co-sponsor of that. There's a parade on June 15th. Ty King is having an evening with a gala at the American Legion, and that's on the 15th. It's an 8th annual all-white affair, meaning you have to wear an all-white attire. Please get with me for details to sign up for those events. This month is Military Appreciation Month. I think all of you know that I'm a veteran. It's just a reminder to please support our troops and honor our veterans. And lastly, the building department, the Connect program. So I have to mention the Connect program. It's going strong, healthy, 170 students. It's homework help and extracurricular activities from 3 to 5 p.m. at the intermediate school. There's a late group from 5 to 6 p.m. where students can stay for activities like board games, sewing, playing Dungeons and Dragons. Again, all of these activities is free. They're free for the children, not paid for you as a taxpayer. It is not part of the school budget that they just talked about tonight. It's paid for by the West Point graduates, the West Point Association of Graduates. It costs almost $400,000 a year for them to have this after-school program. And they're paying for it out of their own pockets. This Thursday, they're going to be at the Hudson Highlands Nature Museum to learn about the prehistoric Hudson Valley. And lastly, the building department report. For April, there were 18 building permits issued, 11 certificates of compliance issued. Mr. Hannibal did 49 building permit inspections, 14 fire safety inspections, and 17 violation notices were issued. That's all I have.
Good evening, everybody. So I just want to give you an update on what has been transpiring down at the sewer plant. I did miss the April 15th meeting, so in March, we were doing treatment down there of an average of 1.18 million gallons a day. It's a lot of treatment, but we did have a lot of precipitation. We had 9.7 inches of rain. Again, I just ask anybody out there that has a sump pump going into their sewer in their basement, if they could take that and put it outside and let it go outside instead of into the sewer system, it would be greatly appreciated. A couple other things that they were doing down there, we had to install a new submersible pump at the Pellwood station that has been taken care of. Inventus is still down there. They're almost done with the digester furnace and the heat exchange. It's going to save us some money. And the general maintenance continues with the guys inside, outside, and they also help out the DPW as well. There was a sewer main break. I don't know if anybody knows that. And it was one of our bigger lines, the sewer main, that runs down along the West Point Highway behind the library and through the municipal lot. I was down there, I seen Mr. Jones going there, and we were on site from, he was there at 6. I got there at 8 after the planning board meeting. We were there till well after midnight trying to assess and figure out how we could get this fixed. They were able to come and put a bypass in so they could get down there and take care of the breaks, and everything's all wrapped up. But the guys are working, you know, at midnight, you know, so. And John doesn't get any overtime for that. So I just wanted to give a shout out for that. At the last meeting, I did mention that I was at the Affordable Connectivity Program. That's for Spectrum. And I guess since I mentioned it, now they're going to discontinue, unfortunately. But they do have another program going out there. And this program was by the federal government, and it was saving people $30 a month on their bill. It doesn't sound like much, but it's $360 a year. That program has been out there, but unfortunately the federal government didn't find room in their budget to extend this program. But they're finding places everywhere else to do it. So, but there is another one out there. If anybody wants that, it's called lifelinesupport.org. And you can go to that website and find out if you would be eligible to get some relief from the Spectrum bill. That I remember when they had Cablevision in the village, and they actually had an office here, and it was $30 a month, and now we're paying $270 a month. It's crazy, it's insane. But anyway, if anybody wants, you know, get a screenshot of this later on, let me know. Another quick thing at Village Hall, there is stickers that you can buy, parking stickers. They're $25. If you're a senior, come in and we give you one for free. So this way you don't have to put that quarter in the meter. But if you don't put the quarter in the meter, and you don't have a sticker, you don't have the senior placard, you get a ticket and it's $25. So this isn't a bad deal, especially if you're utilizing the businesses on Main Street. I try to get one every year, even though I am eligible for the senior one. I get one of these because I get yelled at because I got them going all the way down my window. Kind of reminds me of the old Long Pond stickers that we would see on the cars back in the day. And two more quick things, Mr. Mayor. So, back in 1975, President Ford declared the end to the Vietnam War. And that's this tomorrow. So anybody that's got any flags like this out, or doesn't have one and would like to get one out there, I'm looking at all these people out here in the audience, and I can probably say at least 60% of you know somebody that was in Vietnam or didn't come home. So let's give them some respect, and tomorrow is their special day. And last but not least, we got the Fishing Derby coming up in June, and it's going to be on June 8th, and that is National Outdoor Day. We've had it that day every year that we've had it. So anybody that wants to bring their kids down, come on down. Everything's free. We'll be giving away a little goodie bag. I'm going to have the DEC ENCON officers there. They're going to help. Thruway Market said they would come down and help, teach kids how to tie hooks, cast, throw bobbers out. We will have some bait for the kids if they don't have it. I have a lot of extra poles. If they don't have a pole, I will give them one of mine, because you can only use one, and when you got so many, they ain't doing no good but collecting dust. So if anybody would like to help with this, please come. Last year we had over 70 families show up. It increases every year. It's a great event for the kids. And that'll be at Roe Park. Rain or shine, because the fish don't mind. That's all I got, Mr. Mayor.
Thanks, Jim. Jim?
Yes, a few things. First, the police report for April. Total calls were 851. Part of that call, the arrest summary is as follows. Felony 3 arrests, misdemeanors 10, violations 1 for a total of 14. Summonses issued, parking tickets 20, traffic 31, summonses 7, total 58. Village ticket fees were $460, report fees $12 for a total revenue of $472. Total mileage driven by the officers was 5,002.4, and I'm working on the gas totals for how many gallons. I'll get that next meeting. Just a little interesting fact for residents, if you get a chance, Tom DiNapoli, who's our state controller, did a good interview the other day. I think it was MSNBC or might have been 60 Minutes, but I suggest you Google it or YouTube it. Check it out. Because the state budget is $227 billion. And the governor has a discretionary spending account of $1 billion. That's solely for the governor. They can spend it any way they seem fit, $1 billion. And unlike our municipality, and Tom DiNapoli will say it on the interview, the state has to borrow money to cover its operations, in addition to capital expenses. Very interesting interview. It was about 9 minutes. Maybe don't do it right before bed. You might fall asleep, but I would suggest you check it out. A couple things. First, the dispatchers. In the budget, just like the school had mentioned it, you got to put things, in terms. School's $40 million budget. We are not $40 million. School budget's 5 times more than ours. So we did cut big equipment, just like the school did. We did cut personnel, and we did cut some supplies. Those are the 3 big ones that they had mentioned when they were here today. The reason for the difference in the dispatch is because it's becoming extremely hard to find part-time dispatchers. We had a full-time dispatcher leave. The board decided not to fill that position, to cut back, and so we want to try and go out and hire part-time dispatchers. But to get into that pool, we have to be a little more competitive. Right now, for $15 an hour, you can go work at McDonald's, you can go work at a bunch of other different places. So that was the reason. We're trying to fill these full-time positions, because let's not forget that the community wants the Village PD. The village, you shaking your head no, but just let me finish. The Village of Highland Falls residents want the PD, they want the dispatch, they want Village. Okay, that's how the vote came down. Might not like it, but that's how it came down. So we're trying to be competitive, we're trying to get those part-timers in to reduce costs. Because right now, a full-time expense for medical benefits for a family plan is $41,000. $41,000, just to put things in perspective. A couple comments in regards to poor judgment or lies about the budget. I don't know where that's coming from. If previous administrations, we want to look at some previous administrations and their budgets, I think you'll find some interesting spending lines, especially when it comes down to engineering, attorney's fees. Just off the top of my head, I remember we had 3 different attorneys at the time, and one of them cost us $65,000. I'm not sure what their job was, but it was in addition to our regular village attorney, who, by the way, was Mr. Hearn, and our labor attorney, both of which have stayed on since the previous administration. That's that comment real quick. The comment about the $1.5 million for the sewer, the $1.5 million for the water, and the $1.5 million for the sewer. It's only 1.5 for water and 1.5 for sewer. When the resolution went into the paper, it said water twice, so we had to redo it. So for FEMA expenses, it's just 1.5 and 1.5. There's no additional 1.5 for water and sewer. The 3.4 that we keep talking about in regards to Onteora Park, again, unanimously approved by this board, that expense is already in process. We've already paid out money on that project. It's not in addition to, that money is already being spent. Again, approved by this board, the entire board. We do not borrow money to cover operations. We do not borrow money to cover operations. If we did, the state controller's office, our good buddy Mr. DiNapoli, would have people down here that would have to approve our budget before we could even bring it to the public. Just like the village of Ellenville is in that situation right now. Just like there's another village down in Rockland that's in that situation right now. So that is not accurate. I'm not making this stuff up. I know you might not like it or you might not believe it, but I'm not going to say it if it's not true. I mean, that's the bottom line. A couple other quick little things. The budget is balanced. It has to be. It's not Jim's rule, it's a state rule. It requires us to have a balance, meaning your revenues match your expenses. Why do we have a fund balance that we use to apply to the next year's budget? Because we're conservative with our revenues. Which revenues are we conservative on? We're conservative on the revenues that are really unknown. Sales tax. We can guess that we're going to get 1.5 million, like we historically get, but maybe we won't. You can't rely on that. And everybody, Commissioner of Finance will tell you, Don't budget on what you think you got last year, because it would be a mistake. If we have another COVID, if we have another whatever, shutdown, if we have whatever the situation may be, that revenue stream will go down. The town does the same thing. The town does exactly the same thing. I would probably venture to say that most municipalities in Orange County do the same thing. So again, it's not accurate. It's not accurate. I'm not sure what the $50,000 increase to a friend in Village Hall was. I have no idea what that is. Again, I think they're just like little, we say things. We say the word lie. We say the shoebox full of money. We say money missing. We say I'm lying. We say whatever we want to say, but we never back it up with any real data. Let's talk about the water rates, and that's it. That's it for tonight, because I've had enough really being called a liar 50 times a meeting.
When's the next dissolution?
So let's talk about the water rates, 39%. Yeah, sure, if that's the rate, I didn't do the percentage, but if that's it, I believe, Ms. Carrera. The initial charge was $95. For the total year, we are increasing at $75. I'm not making light of the $75, I gotta pay it. I have to pay it. So it's going up $37.50 in November, and then $37.50 the following May. In light of that, we know that we tried to do a little something for the residents to try to offset some of those increases. So we increased the minimum amount of water you can get from 5,000 to 7,500. Again, we're trying to do the best we can with what we got. But you heard it from the school, which I understand the school's just it's a bigger thing altogether. The school gets much more mandates, state mandates, than any villages or towns do. Having sat on the board for 3 years, I can tell you that. So I get it, I understand. I have to pay the taxes too. I don't want to pay that. I don't want to pay more. I don't want to pay more. Who wants to pay more? Nobody wants to ever pay more, believe me. So again, if we could just stick to factual data, I have no problem with that. I have no problem having a nice conversation, going back and forth, and trying not to call each other names and say you're a liar and you're lying and you're a fool or whatever the comment may be. I think we can do it as adults by just talking and just sticking to the facts. I tried the last several meetings because it was brought to my attention that sometimes we interrupt each other, and I haven't been doing that. And I am appreciative tonight that it wasn't done to me, because last meeting it was done to me during the meeting, even though it wasn't on video. So I appreciate everyone coming tonight. I appreciate the questions. If I don't ever have an answer, I will try to find it for you. But that's the real stuff. So I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Yep.
Second.
Somebody wants to
Public,
speak.
past public comment. I have a motion and I have a second. All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Gary, can I see you for 1 minute?
Meeting's over, so just so we know, for the people that are here,